back-to-back Premier League champions, and we put ourselves in jeopardy of falling further behind Liverpool. And when I say further behind, I mean 9 points behind, because we had to come back from behind for this 2-1 victory today. It was a hard-fought victory. We don't see a lot of games like this where we have to fight so hard for victories, especially against a team like Southampton, who we just defeated in the middle of the week. The last game we played was against Southampton. League Cup match. We defeated them 3-1. Before that game, Southampton were battered 9-0 against Leicester City. But this season, we really haven't been our usual selves. We already lost 2 matches and drew 1. So, we haven't been great. Let me just put that out there. We haven't been great. We look great for most of the times, but the results are not going our way. 11 matches, 8 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, 25 points. Still second. I think we are still second. We are definitely still second, 2 points ahead of third place Chelsea. Our last game in the Premier League, we defeated Aston Villa 3-0. Pretty comfortable win. The midweek win against Southampton, pretty comfortable again. But today, Ralph Hasenhüttl and his boys came out to play football. And for a team who has been going through a very, very, very difficult time, I must take my hat off to them. These guys have a tremendous fighting spirit within them, because you would think their morale would be flattened right now and they would be finding it hard to pick themselves up after, somewhat of a horrendous start this season. But that 9-0 just, it's making it look worse than it really is. Southampton are currently 18th in the table, 8 points, but with 5 points, they could go as far up as 11th. So it's still very, very early times, and I think they still can get themselves out of danger if the Southampton board stick with this manager and just give him some time to work with this team, who I think has a lot of potential. But Ralph Hasenhüttl is learning that the English game is very, very cruel. It's not the same like Germany. It's the same sport, it's football, but it's a whole different beast in England. Man City 2, Southampton 1. What a come from behind victory for Pep Guardiola and his boys, man. What a dramatic game. What a dramatic game. You need a very strong heart to deal with matches like this. And for the Liverpool fans, their game, they also came back from behind and won their match 2-1. So guys, these are signs that it's gonna go down to the wire again. It's definitely gonna go down to the wire. We almost dropped 3 points. Liverpool almost dropped 3 points. We almost came within 3 points of Liverpool, who were actually losing their match up until the 87th minute. So we were a bit more comfortable in our situation than Liverpool were, but that comeback was just simply remarkable. And the City comeback was amazing as well. It was just 2 magnificent games of football and 2 wins by the 2 front runners to actually win the Premier League title this season. And I know the Chelsea fans are going to come up and say, so what about Chelsea? We're only 2 points behind you. And the Leicester City fans are going to be like, what about Leicester City? We're only 5 points behind you. But guys, come on, we all know what's going to happen. By match week 25, these teams are going to fall off. We all know this. We know this for a fact. Liverpool and City, oh man, it's going to be close. It's going to be close. But what if, man? What if Liverpool did not win their game today? It would have been a 3-point gap going into next Sunday's fixture at Anfield. And we would have gotten a chance to, bring things level with Liverpool. And I think we actually have a better goal difference right now. And we would have been on top of the table. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a close one. Let's just all agree that it's going to be a very, very close one. Both sides made 3 changes to the 11s that played in their last Premier League match. And for Southampton, some of the boys that came into the EFL fixture kept their place. One in particular, their goalkeeper, McCarthy, who hasn't started a game for Southampton for for 9 months. Angus Gunn, who hasn't really been doing so great in goal, is a former Man City player, so maybe Hasenhüttl thought that this thing is going to play on his mind and he might not do so well in the game, so McCarthy started. It was the right choice, but it still ended up being the wrong choice. I think any goalkeeper who was in there were going to lose the game on the day. Seriously. Angelino made his first start for Man City at left back with Benjamin Mendy on the bench. And this has given Mendy some time to get his body stronger. He will surely feature in the midweek match against Atalanta. Well, at least I think so. But it's really nice to see that Pep is flexing the depth of the squad. Angelino at left back today looked amazing. He is a better attacker than he is a defender, and he was credited with the assist for the winning goal today. Pep Guardiola started with the centre back pairing of John Stones and Fernandinho, and these boys did a pretty solid job in the back today. In the goal was Edison as usual, and he is definitely to be blamed for that Southampton goal. He should have done better there. And I noticed lately that Edison has been making a lot of mistakes. He's very, very good, pulls off a lot of big saves, but he's been letting in some very, 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 very costly goals this season. At right back was my man of the match, of course, Kyle Walker. He picked up an assist and scored a brilliant winning goal, and that celebration was simply majestic. With a midfield comprised of Ilkay Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, and David Silva, any defense would find it hard to keep these players quiet. Up top, Bernardo Silva kept his place, moving from midfield to right wing, Sergio Aguero as the main striker and Raheem Sterling on the left. Off the bench came Gabriel Jesus, Phil Foden, and Nicolas Otamendi. The first goal of the match was scored by Southampton in the 13th minute. Redmond's pass was so well struck by Armstrong that it forced an error out of Edison. On the spot was James Ward-Prowse to slot home against the team he made his Premier League debut against when he was only 17 years old. So with Southampton going 1-0 up early on in the game, City was put on the back foot, and with all our efforts to score, we were kept out. Southampton kept bodies behind the ball, they frustrated the City forwards, and they denied them the opportunity to equalize. At the halftime break, the Saints were leading, and this must have done a whole lot of good for their confidence, seeing that they're coming off of a 9-0 defeat against Leicester City. But seeing that they went through such a traumatic loss, it was hard to see them holding on to the lead for another 45 minutes. Pep Guardiola got quite desperate and took off David Silva, who was a bit off of his pace on the day, and brought on the more spirited Gabriel Jesus. And I think the reasoning behind this is that Gabriel Jesus works very hard in defense, and in attack he is quite a slippery candidate. Southampton continued to get bodies behind the ball and kept City scoreless, but their fortress would eventually break in the 70th minute when Kyle Walker, making a darting overlapping run, passed the ball back to Aguero, who slotted in with a first-time shot. But City was definitely teasing that equalizer because Aguero previously put a header over, and Southampton were mainly defending. They weren't really attacking. The end stat reads Southampton 3 shots at goal, 3 on target. So it was mainly City. The ball was mainly in Southampton's third of the field. But their defenders were quite tenacious. They kept the ball out of the back of the net for most part of the game. Until that time. But I definitely have to give credit to Kyle Walker, who is showing a lot more intent going forward, because I recently said that I want him to mirror Trent Alexander-Arnold a bit, and it's not because he's an older player. You're not too old to learn. You know, you could still pick up a few pointers from the young man. You could still get inspired by the young player, because guess what? He's not in the England team anymore, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is. So I see that he's showing more intent going forward. And the fact that João Cancelo is in the team, the right back spot is, you know, it's up for grabs. But I think Pep Guardiola is rotating quite nicely and giving the players, you know, a nice balance there. Sometimes Champions League, League Cup, you know, you see, I really like what's going on with the team right now. So kudos to Kyle Walker for that overlap and for that cutback for that Aguero goal. It was simply amazing. With that goal, we came back into the game and all we needed to do was score another and pick up the 3 points. With Southampton trying to counter-attack, the ball clattered into the referee and they were given an uncontested drop ball where they chose to pass the ball back to McCarthy, who thought it was cool to pick it up. City was awarded an indirect free kick which Kevin De Bruyne put wide, but that was definitely signs that we were gonna score. In the lead up to the winning goal, guys, I don't know if any one of you guys noticed that Edison took a throw in. How often do you see a goalkeeper take a throw in? Not very often at all. According to my notes, this happened in the 85th minute and the goal was scored in the 86th minute. So I think it had something to do with the goal. Maybe or maybe not. I just wanted to throw that in there. And I'm only throwing it in there to highlight how much we were bossing this game. But the goal came from an Angelino crossing that the goalkeeper McCarthy failed to deal with, and Kyle Walker, making that dashing run, got on the end of it and put it in the back of the net, celebrated gloriously. I really like that celebration though. Him sliding across that slick surface and just, you know, basking in all the glory, because at that time he knew he had won the game for City. It's very important that we continue to win every single game because Liverpool aren't relenting. They're not dropping points. Well, they drop against United, but it seems like they don't want to drop points, even from losing situations. But this is just a hallmark of two very, very good teams. I use the word good, I should use the word great. City did get a few more occasions to score in the end, but the efforts were foiled. The game eventually ended Man City 2, Southampton 1, and I have to feel it for Southampton because they came out and they played really, really hard. They had a plan, but in the end, guys, quality always prevail. This was also a very, very frustrating game for Pep Guardiola on the sidelines. He wasn't really agreeing with a lot of the refereeing decisions and some of the yellow cards shown to the City players. And there was one situation where the Southampton assistant referee was kind of holding up the ball to waste time when there was a throw in, and then later on when City was actually leading, the ball came out to Pep Guardiola and he was giving the ball to the Southampton assistant manager like, yeah, you want it now? Do you want it now? And I actually retweeted that. So I actually find that very, very, very funny. You know, so it was a very, very exciting day of football. The Liverpool game and then this game. And then earlier I saw Man United lose to Bournemouth. And then I watched the Chelsea game. Guys, it was a fun-filled day of football. Let's just say that. But it's a big relief to actually pick up this victory after going down early on in this game. And as I said earlier, with Liverpool winning like this, we have to continue winning. We play them next week. We have a chance, a very, very good chance to close the gap to 3 points, to defeat them at Anfield, to break their unbeaten run, to become the first team to win at Anfield since 2017, in the Premier League at least. Champions League too. I think they did lose there in the League Cup. But it's not an easy place to win. But I will talk about the Anfield clash in another video because that's time. It's time. I plan to do a recap, so maybe I'll cover a bit more in the recap. But if you guys have anything to add, please do so in the comment section down below. I really, really appreciate you getting to the end of this video. If you're new around here, consider hitting the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to visit cardsplug.com/dominicrichfc. A link would be in the description box down below. Use the coupon code dominicrichfc to get 15% off your order. Christmas is just around the corner. Get yourself a gift or get one of your loved ones a gift. Guys, from your boy Dominic Rich, I'd like to say thank you very much. Until my next video, peace out. Rich Squad.